Beautiful.
People tend to stop.
See? Oh, darn, I'm going to have to put away my clock.
That's right.
The pilgrims that visited Galilee on the 4th century described this mountain to us, and they wrote that the locals told them or showed them where Jesus said the Beatitudes. Uphill because of the Beatitudes. So go inside and see that there's one Beatitude. And you know how you spell it because it's a math. I think it's
When Jesus saw the crowds, he went up to the mountain, and after he sat down, his disciples came to him. Then he began to speak and taught them, saying, "Blessed are the poor in spirit, for theirs is the kingdom of heaven. Blessed are those who mourn, for they will be comforted. Blessed are the meek, for they will inherit the earth. Blessed are those who hunger and thirst for righteousness, for they will be filled. Blessed are the merciful, for they will receive mercy. Blessed are the pure in heart, for they will see God. Blessed are the peacemakers, for they will be called children of God. Blessed are those who are persecuted for righteousness' sake, for theirs is the kingdom of heaven. Blessed are you when people revile you and persecute you and utter all kinds of evil against you falsely on my account. Rejoice and be glad, for your reward is great in heaven. For in the same way they persecuted the prophets who were before you." I couldn't help notice, as we're sitting here in the background noise, is the chirping of the birds. And from the same spot, Jesus might have said these words, "Look at the birds of the air. They neither sow nor reap nor gather into barns, and yet your heavenly Father feeds them. Are you not of more value than they?"
As you look around here, and you'll be able to walk in the church and then all around the outside. Up there on the steps, up where you the landing there on the right, there's a little plaque there about the Wesleyan Church that put a plaque here. So I always like to point out that
This was placed by the Wesleyan Church. Jerusalem Conference 1978. Okay, we're going to see if you make it this time.
Yeah.
Leslie got pulled over to the side. All right, they're letting her go. She made it. They think that this was the classroom area for Jesus. You got my camera? I gave it to somebody.
And one step ahead of warm dirt.
Yeah, that's only one step ahead of warm dirt.
هو بيعرف انا بشرب عصير لا حول ولا قوه الا بالله. They know good driving. So I got it. Yeah.
Jesus spent most of his time. Now, tabga means, okay, tabga is Arabic, does not have meaning. The original word is Greek, and
Afterward, Jesus appeared again to his disciples by the Sea of Tiberias. It happened this way. Simon Peter, Thomas, called Didymus, Nathanael from Cana in Galilee, the sons of Zebedee, and 2 other disciples were all together. "I'm going out to fish," Simon Peter told him. And they said, "We'll go with you." So they went out and got into the boat.
Came up to her on the boat and was thinking, well, who should I ask to do this reading? It's her, it's the most meaningful one. So God is so wonderful. Sam is going to give us a little more instruction about what to see down here. We spent a little more time here, so 11:30 we'll be back at the bus.
I lit a candle for Royce.
Okay. Can you put the camera down?
Yeah.
Could I use your shoes right now and then I'll...
All right, I'm gonna wear my St. Luke's flip-flops. This one says "Go Serve," and this one says "Go Serve" on the bottom. So that gets imprinted into the sand when you walk.
Can everyone hear me?
Yes.
Touches my skin. Got it. When we were on the boat, Bill was sharing with us that our difficulties is what
when we get through them, then we can look back and understand that God was there all the time. And so every time I open Jesus Calling for the day, there's something that is unbelievable about how it relates with whatever is going on that day. So after we came in from the boat, I flipped open to Jesus Calling, and this is what it says. You can lash out at difficulty, resenting it and feeling sorry for yourself. This will take you down into a pit of self-pity. Alternately, the problem can be a ladder, enabling you to climb up and see your life from my perspective. Viewed from above, the obstacles that frustrated you is only a light and a momentary trouble. Once your perspective has been heightened, you can look away from the problems altogether. Turn toward me and see the light of my perspective shining down upon you. And then in Corinthians 2, it says, therefore, we do not lose heart. Though outwardly we are wasting away, yet inwardly we are being renewed day by day. For our light and our momentary troubles are activating for us an eternal glory that far outweigh them all. So we fix our eyes not on what is seen, but what is unseen. For what is seen is temporary, but what is unseen is eternal.
Amen. Very nice.
Look here in a second to the left and right, you will see that we are crossing a river. This is the Jordan River from the northern side that feeds the Sea of Galilee.
Jordan River.
What's that remind you of?
This is it.
Wow. That reminds me of the painting that you
Now,
did there.
crossing the Jordan River, you will be passing from Israel to the occupied Golan Heights. Now you are not anymore in Israel, you are in a land that belonged to Syria until 1967, until Israel occupied the Golan Heights during the 6 Days War. And you can see to the left where these olive trees are, you see bankers there, where the flags are.
Oh, yeah.
Bunkers, yes. And this all, like here, and all of the heights that you see ahead of you, they all belong to Syria. And of course, one day they will return to Syria, because this is what caused the tension and the conflict between Israel and Syria. They don't think as neighbors can live in this conflict and tension forever.
That's Bethsaida, condemned by Jesus.
The refugees, Israel recognize that this is occupied territories. I mean, Israel don't really have a problem giving this land back. Even in the year 2000, they were very close to give this land back to the Syrians. But the conflict point was the water. The Syrians have the right to use the water of the Sea of Galilee, but the Israelis said, well, you can have the land, but you cannot use the water. And the Syrians rejected that deal. That the moisture does not allow mosquitoes to come closer to it. Mosquitoes don't like it. So during the 6 Days War, when the war started, the Israeli jets flew over the Golan Heights and bombarded the eucalyptus trees, because they know that the military bases are located under these eucalyptus trees. And in a few hours, they destroyed almost all of the Syrian army infrastructure in this area, which was here at the time of Jesus. And the story of the pigs and the swine who ran into the water, like the owners of these pigs came from this town. Yeah. A steep cliff, and this is the only cliff that is close to the water of the Sea of Galilee. And this should be the place where the pigs run down to the water. When Jesus healed the man who was possessed with demons. So this region was called the land or the region of the Gadarenes. Mainly Greeks lived over here.
Oh yeah. He's fishing. Tiberias is way over there. We're about halfway around the lake now, or the sea.
Those look like citrus trees.
I think they might rent watercraft, but a lot of people don't own boats.
And all the accoutrements that come.
Yeah, like now I'll tell you where they do down in the lot.
Gonna have some St. Peter's fish.
Comes up, there's all the Uncle comes up there.
Wow, big place.
Enjoy.
Huge place. All right, this is St. Peter's fish, and we're about to enjoy it here.
Well in the course.
It's gonna come on your cheeks. That's why you kiss your cheek, okay?
It'll be easier just to do it.
Are you gonna eat yours or just look at it?
What kind of preacher are you? That's not what
This is how our pastor treats people,
You kiss a fish. Don't you want a nice picture? Why don't you think
and his wife helps too. All right, now she's traumatized. That's how we treat people at St. Luke's.
You put you and me on opposite sides of the church, you talk, it's like that was one of the he's kind of a surveyor attorney. He always had a quick wit.
In Matthew 17. After Jesus and his disciples arrived in Capernaum, the collectors of the 2 drachma temple tax came to Peter and asked, "Doesn't your teacher pay the temple tax?" "Oh, yes, he does," he replied. When Peter came into the house, Jesus was the first to speak. "What do you think, Simon?" he asked. "From whom do the kings of the earth collect duty and taxes? From their own children or from others?" "From others," Peter answered. "Then the children are exempt," Jesus said to him. "But so that they may not cause offense, go to the lake and throw out your line. Take the first fish you catch, open its mouth, and you will find a 4 drachma coin. Take it and give it to them for my tax and yours." Selah.
It's actually
Crossing the Jordan River again. Just pretty much, there it is. There it is on this side. Yep. All right.
Jordan is warmer than the Sea of Galilee.
And that's a Greek Orthodox church.
Oh, okay.
And the other building there where that wall is, that's the like where we're gonna visit. But of course Capernaum was much bigger than what you're gonna see. What you're gonna see is just what the Catholic Church owns here.
Oh, well, that's all right.
Yeah, I'll be going. I meant to. I go through the evenings and illuminate the ones I decided on word Hebrews. Well, you know what Captain Kirk's middle name was, don't you?
Jesus.
House of Peter. Mark 2.
Mark 2 talks about Jesus at Capernaum and the story about Jesus being in a house, and the house was full with visitors, with people, and others brought him a paralyzed man to heal, and they could not get into the house because the house was full. So Mark talks about like 4 men carrying the man to the roof, and they opened the roof of the house and they lowered the man down to Jesus. Now, and you may kill the people in it. But here archaeologists, when they excavated, they found something interesting. They found that the houses here were not sealed with stones. And the houses here were very small because this was a kind of a poor community. So people sealed their homes with wood and with palm leaves. And they even found that there are stairs attached, stairs on each house to reach the roof, because they think that there was a need to reach the roof at least twice a day by people of the house to So knowing that and finding the stairs explains to us how 4 men managed to carry a paralyzed man to the roof of the house, and how they opened the roof and lowered this man down to Jesus. And this was a poor community, so they paved also with the same type of stones. So they put the big rocks first to make the floor solid enough so it will not sink. And then above these big rocks, they paved with smaller stones that they collected from the lake, smooth ones, like the ones maybe that you put in the. I think most of you saw those ancient coins at the store in Bethlehem. If not, you're gonna see them later when we go to Jerusalem. They have similar things there. But if you saw the Roman coins, okay, you realize that when you drop a coin on such a pavement, it's very, very difficult to find. Okay, so that parable was told here. So only I think the people of Capernaum understood it. While even at that time, the people of Jerusalem who never been here, I don't think they understood what it was meant by that. Another thing to show you, that look there, see that there's a door there, that's an entrance. That's an entrance to this house. This house, see where I'm pointing at? This house contains 1, 2, 3, 4 rooms, yeah? Now, the other house is there. This is here. Down here is another house, and you see the entrance of this house where that pillar is. Now that pillar, where that pillar is, this was kind of a courtyard separating this house in front of us with the other house where that cactus thing is. So houses were very close to each other. As, by the way, we live today. I mean, we live, like for example, where I live, my parents had their house. Then my brother built a house above, and I built above. And in my neighborhood, there are all cousins and uncles. And the reason that people lived like this in the old days, because we live in a trade road, and lots of strangers would come. And to protect yourself, this is a very old thing. To protect yourself, you have to have a strong tribe. If you have a strong tribe, you can protect yourself. You can survive.
5th century synagogue here.
Synagogues were built after the first exile, the exile of Babylonia. This is when synagogues were built. Because Jews lost their temples, no more temple, and at the exile they wanted a place to pray in, so they started kind of meeting at houses, and later on they built special buildings to meet in, and by time they developed the liturgy, the prayers that they would say at these synagogues. But these synagogues are not a substitute to a temple. These synagogues are just
place where they can pray. And usually synagogues in general, they would face Jerusalem because Jerusalem is the place of the Holy of Holiness. Okay? Now, when the Jews returned from the exile, synagogues were built in Galilee only. They were not built in Jerusalem because the temple was built in Jerusalem. So only like the people built their synagogues in Galilee because Galilee is far away from Jerusalem, and they worshipped at these synagogues until like they were kicked out of here. Now, usually there was always a separation between men and women at these synagogues. In such a synagogue, there was, say, like where we are would be for men. Okay, this is where men would sit, and women did not sit here. Women would like up there. You see where the lights are? There would be a kind of an aisle. Okay, and women will go and sit on the upper, like aisle, like a balcony or whatever. To attend the service. In the older synagogues, like the synagogues from the time of Jesus, they would be smaller, of course, and still women cannot worship with men. They will sit in a room next to the synagogue, and would be holes on the wall, so for women to hear the preacher and also to participate in the prayer. Now, this separation between men and women is very cultural. There was separation at the temple between men and women. There was a woman court, men court. Then this was inherited like later by the Jews at the synagogues, and even till today at churches, like at my church, Roman Catholic Church, women and men don't. In general, like some women do not sit with their husbands when they enter a church. Okay, it's a cultural thing. It's not a.
I'm reading from Mark 1, verses 21 through 34. They went to Capernaum, and when the Sabbath came, Jesus went into the synagogue and began to teach. The people were amazed at his teaching, because he taught them as one who had authority, not as the teachers of the law. Just then a man in the synagogue, who was possessed by an impure spirit, cried out, "What do you want with us, Jesus of Nazareth? Have you come to destroy us? I know who you are, the Holy One of God." "Be quiet," said Jesus sternly. "Come out of him." The impure spirit shook the man violently and came out of him with a shriek. The people were all so amazed that they asked each other, "What is this? A new teaching and with authority? He even gives orders to the impure spirits and they obey him." News about him spread quickly over the whole region of Galilee. As soon as they left the synagogue, they went with James and John to the home of Simon and Andrew. Simon's mother-in-law was in bed with a fever, and they immediately told Jesus about her. So he went to her, took her hand, and helped her up. The fever left her, and she began to wait on them. That evening, after sunset, the people brought to Jesus all the sick and demon-possessed. The whole town gathered at the door, and Jesus healed many who had various diseases. He also drove out many demons, but he would not let the demons speak, because they knew who he was.
I always like that story because Peter's mother-in-law gets healed. And better, and they go, "It's time to eat." She serves them. That's how it is with women, isn't it? You're not allowed to get sick. The men can get sick and be like that for days. We can just milk it for all it's worth, but moms, they never get a chance, do they?
They bring the scroll. You've been to a Jewish service, maybe for a bar mitzvah, and they would bring it around, and then they would lay it out on the table, and then they would use the corner, and it'd read, and they'd roll it up, take it around again, put it back in there, close, and then the teacher would sit in the seat of Moses, and Jesus would sit down, and he would teach. So imagine this is started, and then somebody stands up and starts screaming, right?
We're from Orlando.
SeaWorld sisters. Are you?
Olive oil is a very special oil for people of this land and the Middle East in general, because olive oil been always a basic food for the people of the Middle East. And it was the olive oil was, so for being anointed with the olive oil, and, you become really literally you become equal to the prophets and the kings of the Old Testament. So the Christians, the followers of Christ, were called at that time, until today, they were called the anointed ones. Usually they pick the olives from the trees with hand, okay? They press most of their olives. There are two steps to press the olives. The first one is to crush the olives. So they crush the olives with that stone. That stone, they put the olives in that cup, and then like to be wooden team, donkey or cow sometimes will move that stone to crush the olives. And then the second step is to press. Now, plants, fruits, like you see pomegranate there, grapes, flowers, stars. Now this star is what you know today, the Star of David, which is, there is nothing in history called Star of David. Okay? This star is way before David. Okay? It's way before David. The Jews Muslims use this star for a long time, as well as Christians here. And Jews also use the same star. And later on, the Zionist movement in the 19th century adopted this star to become their symbol.
Yeah, I'm helping you. See, I get commission from your guide.
This is all from the synagogue.
All of that.
This represents the Ark of the Covenant. This is more ruins of the city. The stones are black because of the volcanoes around here.
Yeah. It's probably a major crop of the time.
Another olive press. Thou art Peter, and upon this rock I will build my church. Matthew 16:18. Wow. They had a sweeping panorama of the lake from here. We love our treats.
Here, right there.
That's our ancient artifact of the day.
It is.
Is that before or after the synagogue was built?
You know, it hasn't been used in a while, I don't think.